This is the early afternoon of the 30th of July, 2024. Clip put up by Fox, written by Timothy H.J. Nerozzi, Nerozzi of Fox News, published on the 30th. Title: White House website praises lifetime Supreme Court appointments as Biden pushes term limits. Biden made a sudden policy shift this week, demanding Congress end lifetime appointments to the Supreme Court. Well, it shouldn't just be the Supreme Court. It should be Congress as well.
Yeah, that Fox News alert. President Biden speaking now on this plan to reform the Supreme Court. Let's listen.
Thank you. Thank you. Really. Thank you. Please. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. Mr. Ambassador, thanks for that introduction, and above all, for your friendship over the years. There's literally one word that comes to mind every time I think of Andy Young. The word's integrity. Absolute integrity. And thank you to the Johnson family for carrying forward the legacy of a truly great president and first lady. Your mom was incredible as well. The same goes to Mark Upgrove, president of the LBJ Foundation. It's great to back.
All right, you can watch the clip. It's 25 minutes long. President Biden's official White House website continues to praise the lifetime appointments of the Supreme Court despite his recently announced intentions to alter the system. In an About section of the website, on information page about the judiciary branch, praises the lifetime appointments system is a bulwark against temporary passion of the public. Judges and justices serve no fixed term. They serve until their death, retirement, or conviction by the Senate, the White House website states. By design, this insulates them from temporary passions of the public and allows them to apply the law with only justice in mind and not electoral or political concerns. Now, if that were true, wouldn't they all vote the same way? Instead of voting on their political ideology, which is what they always do. And the same thing applies to members of Congress and the Senate. We need new blood. We don't need people that are 90 years old, that have been in the Senate for the last 50 years or 40 years or 30 years, or in Congress for the last 30 or 40 or 50 years. It's completely insane. Biden-Harris calls for Supreme Court term limits, code of conduct, limits on presidential immunity. I think they got to get rid of that presidential immunity. The White House spokesperson told Fox Digital that the website's next praising lifetime position on the Supreme Court is an artifact carried over from former President Trump's administration and outdated. Look, the problem is that when the founding fathers made these lifetime appointments, people didn't live past the age of 40. They were dead. Now, they hang in till they're 90. That language is outdated and left over from the Trump administration website. The point of view that presidents should be allowed to commit crimes without legal consequences, or that the Supreme Court can self-police conflicts of interest, is outdated and hurting the American people and our democracy, spokesman Andrew Bates told Fox News Digital. He continued, instead, President Biden agrees with the wide range of constitutional experts, many of whom are leading conservatives, including retired federal judges who were nominated by Republican President Ronald Reagan, Solicitor General, and officers at the Federalist Society, who know that all of the goals mentioned on the page would be better met by 18-year term limits and a binding code of conduct for Supreme Court justices. Look at these morons all wearing skirts or dresses, whatever the hell they're wearing. And that fat broad on the right, Elena Kagan, she was never even a judge. She was the scab that helped bury Obama's past, and he rewarded her with a lifetime appointment to the Supreme Court. Biden and Vice President Camel-Face Arnese Harris, who is now running for the top of the presidential ticket for Democrats in November, declared support for the Supreme Court term limits, ethic rules, and a constitutional amendment to limit presidential immunity on Monday. Biden, in an op-ed published in the Washington Post, said he has great respect for institutions and separation of power, but what is happening now is not normal, and it undermines the public's confidence in the court's decision, including those impacting personal freedom. We now stand in a breach. Biden and the Democratic Party have repeatedly accused the Supreme Court of having been corrupted by originalist and textualist jurists appointed under conservative presidents. These characterizations increased after Trump was given a rare opportunity to appoint 3 justices in one term: Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett. How many did Obama put? He put a couple of scabs in, didn't he? He would have done more, but he couldn't get rid of them. They weren't dying fast enough. The conservative bloc does not always vote together, but Democrats in Congress and in the White House have claimed that the Republican-appointed majority has compromised the integrity of the court. The court's a complete joke. The move marks a nearly 180-degree pivot from Biden, who had generally bucked plans, even from within his own party, to make such massive changes to the high court. They should do the same thing with senators and congressmen. We need term limits. Get rid of the old guard and put in new minds. Once they've been there for a period of time, they form cliques. We got to get rid of that. That's just sort of what I think. I'll attach the link. Pass it along, and thanks for listening.